Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Streak Day 162. In the house, well, in his house, is Mr. Owen Jackson from South London Legion. Owen, welcome to the show!
Wow, what a build-up. Hello, Rob.
I've decided just to get more hype at the start of the shows. Like, it's good for me. It's good for me. How are you? Are you well?
Hype beast. I'm very well, yeah. The sun's shining in London. And yeah, I've got a tournament to run tomorrow, so I'm quite excited about that. Been chasing people for lists all week and answering queries and stuff, so yeah, it's good. It's quite a good learning experience, actually. Being a TO, you end up learning more and more about the game because people ask you loads of obscure stuff that you don't know the answer to. Yeah, so I'm great. Yeah.
It's true. I share that feeling. Running the Super Series. It's been really fun. I've had some very interesting questions. I had a FAQ. I don't know if you want to hear about this, because there's a particular Kharadron Overlords artifact that gives you -1 to hit at the start of the shooting phase, but it doesn't say when it ends. It's just infinite. So I was like,
I had that exact question. Somebody asked that, and I was like, it's to the end of the phase, you gamey bastard. Of course, it's not going to last for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
I'm gonna just actually put Jonathan Etland on speed dial. And so someone's like, I've got a question. I'm like, no problem. Let me just get our international judge. Hello, John. And John will go, no, I don't like you now. Just hang up on them. That's a tactic.
That's the way to deal with that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I think actually just getting some clarity is always positive. So today we are going to be talking or doing a list review show of the list that Owen is TOing at the Hammertime event, which is tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I want to say big shout out to everyone on the Twitch chat for joining us live, especially Ramshackle Curtis in the house. Who is, so the T-Sports Arena is on the top floor of a building. The bottom floor of the building is taken up by a wonderful man named Gary, who runs a venue called Carpe Ludum, which is a kind of like a club house. But he also runs in one of the rooms a little, well, not little at all, a 3D print factory called Minifactorum. That's moved to one of the other little rooms in the venue downstairs. It's like a warren. It's really fun. And then in the other room, Curtis, who's in the chat now, who does Ramshackle Games, he's setting up like a 3D, he's doing a mold casting bit. That's probably wrong. Anyway, so there's a real fun little thing. So Gary does the 3D printing, Curtis will do the molding stuff, the resin casting, nailed it. And then I got words in my mouth. And then anyway, so really fun. So all that like factory stuff will be happening downstairs, and then we'll be doing all the sports upstairs in Lycra. So very excited about that. If we got lights today, Owen, that's the update I can give you from the venue if you're interested.
Let there be light, right? So you can see what you're doing finally.
Yeah, loads of lights. It's flooded, which is excellent. That's one of the other big problems we've had at venues generally is like low light. So this is a swath, a flood. You could arguably say a veranda of light. I'm trying to get better with words, like a bit more wordy in the future. I don't know if it's working. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Owen, before we do though, how have you been? Talk to me. Tell me some words.
Yeah, good. I've been building and painting a lot of terrain recently. Say no more. And yeah, I have actually painted a model for the first time yesterday in about 3 months. I've had a bit of sort of painter's block, I want to call it. I haven't been particularly motivated to paint anything. So yeah, I painted a little nomad prince yesterday, which was fun. But yeah, on the whole, just it's a funny time in London. I know a lot of clubs around the UK and stuff are socially distancing and able to get games in and stuff, but it seems very different down here because obviously a lot of players get around with public transport and things like that. So yeah, there's still not a thriving physical gaming scene yet. There are on the outskirts. I know the Bucks guys and some of the guys in Essex are able to run a club and they've got space. But yeah, so I'm missing playing in real life. So hence, yeah, engaging with the online community and putting on Hammertime has been really fun. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so Hammertime is a tabletop simulator tournament, which is it a 2-dayer? Is that correct?
Well, Last time I did it, I think off the top of my head, I had about 20 odd players, and then this time it doubled. At one time, pre-dropout, I had over 50 players. So I thought it's really hard to split a field of 50 players just with 3 games. So what I've done is the top 16 are now going to go through to like a finals one day. So yeah, this Hammertime essentially currently sits at just over 40 players. The top 16 then will go forward to a one day where they can choose new armies and there'll be new battle plans. So yeah, it's almost like a qualifier. But there's still a lot to play for tomorrow. You've got again, it might be a bit overkill, but I've got best in faction. Again, everyone's got something to play for there. We're doing Watson's List Whisper Award. So Darren's going to have a look at all the lists and choose something that he likes in terms of an interesting idea or something a bit off meta. And obviously there's favourite opponents. So being nice will be rewarded and having a good time. So
as it should be. As is good in life, is good in games. Be nice. Get rice. Yeah. Damn it. That's not good. I need a better one.
I know, I loved that. That was amazing.
No. Be kind and you will find that you get the pork rind. Still doesn't work. Damn it. Okay. We'll get there one day. We've got... Screw this.
You're snappier than me, Rob. I'm still waking up, so you're doing a wonderful job, man. You keep going with those wonderful puns.
And as always, Colonel Cabbage has defeated me. Be nice, roll dice. Just like to say, screw you. It's not that easy to do it live. I want you to know that. You have clever fingertips. Okay. Right. Let's do this. So let's look at some lists. I'm ready to rock when you are. First thing, let's look at the stats. So 41 lists, which is, at the minute, a fairly large event, really, in Age of Sigmar terms, for us to get some sort of indication of what people might want to take to tournaments. Did anything stand out to you here, or did you feel it was quite normal?
I mean, I'm not sure if you've got the pie chart on screen, but we've got the usual. There's no surprises that Seraphon, the space lizards, the laser dinosaurs, the teleporty, croaky, wonderful. Yeah, I'm not going to be salty about Seraphon. We've got 5 Seraphon players because it's a really good book and they've got good rules. They're the top faction, and then we've got 4 more tribes players.
See, that's actually quite surprising. 4 more tribes players. That's actually genuinely a shock to me.
I think it's, if you go for the whole Boulder Head Stonehorns thing, then it's fun to play. It's like 3 or 4 war scrolls, and it's easy. It's it's kind of like a cliche TTS army. Do you know what I mean? It's you're not moving around loads of Noblars, or I don't know. You're not moving around big blocks of troops. You just got these Stonehorns buzzing around, and it's lots of fun. But yeah, I think people thought that the loss of the malign sorcery artifacts makes the Stonehorn build a lot weaker, but I don't know. I think you get to see a lot of the rune tokens, the Alvagar rune tokens, seem to be the replacement for the ethereal amulet to make that stone.
It's also it's also just like a survivable-ish army. Like it's tanky, and it's got like big threat, and a lot of the output that we're seeing in the minute is overturns. Like you could, if we just took Seraphon for example, so yeah, Croak can do a bunch of mortal wounds, but that's never going to take a Stonehorn out. And yeah, the Salamanders maybe could take a Stonehorn out, like maybe to probably, but not guaranteed. And then also, I reckon you can protect the Stonehorn a little bit better against the and then it can go and hit. So I don't know. There's I can see why. Plus they're just fun, man. Iron guts, like big swole fellas.
Oh my god! There is a list. There's a list from a guy who his name is Iron Guts in his actual name, and his list has, I think, 20 Iron Guts. So that's one to look forward to. It's just big lads out to have a good time, run around and eat things, right?
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got their stag t-shirts on. They're ready to party. Right. Okay. Let's do this. So let's start looking through the list if you're happy with that.
Yeah, let's do it. I think it'd be difficult to go through every list, so there may be some which sort of fit an archetype, and we might just sort of skip over it. So no offense to anybody if we don't go in detail on their
I
lists.
actually, I actually really like the archetypes. So if you guys listen to the show that I did with Jonathan Etland yesterday, that's right. Yesterday we started to talk about archetypes because obviously with Super Series I wanted to be able to explain those. So if I'm seeing a Zinch list, I expect it to be a change host. If it's something different, then that's an interesting talking point. If it's a change host, that just doesn't need covering again. Like sometimes you can do different styles of change hosts, but it doesn't need recovering. And I think that's really valuable because I feel like people don't need to hear the same old thing over and over. It just doesn't make much sense, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think these list shows, especially when you get to some of the bigger tournaments, they can be like hours and hours and hours. And I did actually try and copy and paste everything off to put them in their allegiances, and we could have done all the Seraphon together, but the way that they're formatted, not all of them were put in as text, there's pictures and all sorts, so I wasn't able to do that. But
hopefully we'll have a way to do that. A big shout out to the stats squad, the TSN stats squad. They're the most dangerous people in the world right now. And also, I'm a bit remiss, Owen. I'm sorry, I forgot my intro. Thank you to everyone who listens to the podcast. You guys are hydro homies, or bottle bros, whatever you want. Water warriors. Thanks for staying hydrated. Wow. And thank you to everyone on the Honest Wargamer Patreon. Couldn't do without you. Literally couldn't live without you. So you guys are phenomenal, excellent, brilliant, and perfect. Okay, so let's get on with it. Aaron Wilson, Owen. Everyone should be able to see this on the screen. Gorgeous fella. Yes. Really, really upbeat. Nice, great guy, great list.
And he knows what he's doing with this as well. So it's Fangs of Sotek. So probably the most obnoxious of the Seraphon options, if I'm being honest. Don't charge it, get shot. Charge it, get shot. I mean it's a great list. It's got a requisite amount of skinks, so you've got your 4 10s of skinks and a big block of 40 to soak up those buffs, and then he's got 20 camos, which is really obnoxious. Well, so 2 5s of camos.
So I mentioned this yesterday on the show with Jonathan. I actually think so. Big block of 40s, your big power unit, really there. Obviously, it's got Croak. But really Croak doesn't work without, of course, his banner bearer and the Bearwind, so it's like he's not really but yeah, those goddamn skinks. I like how everyone in the world is like, listen, I need to talk about skinks. I'm like, no we don't, let's just ignore skinks. But like I talked about on the show with Jonathan, I feel like you're gonna really, this is kind of like deep tech, these chameleon skinks. It's become more and more of a thing. More and more people are playing with this list or playing with this army and are going, I'm taking camo skinks. We saw a list, maybe at a TTS event run by the wonderful Adam Mumford, 2 months ago, basically. Yeah. And it was taking a bunch of camo skinks. And since then, I really feel their rise in popularity. Also, you can just paint a normal skink and just say that they're a camo skink. So it's financially very cheap.
Yes. Yeah, I've played that. That was Pete from Finland. That was 40 camos, 2 blocks of 20. And it's just got so much flex because you can just drop them down and shoot. Or I've seen players where they keep them in their deployment zone. Like they have them on the board at the start, and then they give them the Skink Priest buff, or whichever gives them the buff which does mortals on 6s. So they do mortals on 6s to hit and mortals on 6s to wound with all the rerolls, and they're just like a little sneaky little ninja death ball of lizard goodness.
Can we all officially call them skanks, and all we hate skanks? I just can't do it. Anyway, Aaron, great guy, great list. Adam is running Soul Blight. Now, Adam's been at a few TTS events, and he loves this list, doesn't he?
He loves this, and he's made a little change this time. So this Adam, he picked up the Darren's List Whisperer award last time. I think he had more Blood Knights last time, and he's put in some Vargeists. He's got 6 Vargeists in there. So it's Soul Blight Allegiance. He's got the 2 Mortarks for debuffing to hit, and also re-rolling ones to hit and wound from Manfred's command ability. I'm not sure. He's obviously relying on the spells quite a bit because he's got a Corpse Cart in there. But yeah, it's going to debuff. It's going to try and debuff you, I think, and then fly at you super fast, right?
I think the important part is that amethystine pinions is always really, really important. But most of the spells for Legion of Nagash have always been really important, and I think the inclusion of the Corpse Cart, which we saw make like a big rise in popularity when Flesh Eater Courts were a thing. Flesh Eater Courts players were like, oh, we really, really need to get these 3 spells off or 2 spells off. So we're going to give ourselves this +1 from this ally slot. And I think the whole general Death faction need that +1, especially in the kind of modern world, unless you're running some of the big characters. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Outside of Nagash, yeah.
So you guys may or may not know that I've been called a terrorist by Vince Ventrella from Warhammer Weekly before, Warhammer Terrorist. But if I was to give a Warhammer Terrorist award out, it would be to Adam Mumford. That's who I would at least, if not a terrorist, at least a Warhammer. I don't know what
He's
the right
like a provocateur.
Is.
He's like a provocateur, isn't he?
Yeah, the Warhammer Provocateurs. I'd like to start a band with him, and that's what we call ourselves, the Warhammer Provocateurs. Freedom Fighter, says Aegis Sigmar. Yeah, that's better. A Warhammer Freedom Fighter, Adam Mumford. That's his new name, Adam the Freedom Fighter Mumford. And he is running, of all things, an Anvil Guard Cities of Sigmar list. So this is one of those off-meta different picks, right?
Yeah, and it's no surprise that Adam's running it, after bringing whatever it was, 13 cockatrices, and then before that, I think it was Big Stabs. He's not actually, is he spamming anything here? I don't know if he's had I suppose he is. Yeah, and I'm not sure. Do you know? I know what he wants to do here, I think. Do you know what he wants to do here?
Yeah, so what he wants to do is do the Soul Screen Bridge and just fire off like a billion shots. Those Black Ark Corsairs, the Freegill Crossbow are just doing a lot of shooting. But specifically, what he wants to do is he wants to get the spell off, which I think is Vitriolic Spray. Oh, Tom the Hobbit, thanks for tipping five poons to the show. Oh, thanks, Tom.
Legend.
Thanks, Tom. I'll buy myself a sandwich at lunch with that. Thanks, Tom. Not for £5, obviously. I'd never pay £5 for a sandwich. What am I, in London? Yeah.
Mate, yeah, I can't get a sandwich for £5 around here.
I was starting a fight in a cafe the other day. They were like, it'll be £3 for the sandwich. I was like, £3? Anyway, I didn't start a fight because I'm too nice for that. But
yeah, so from sandwiches to spicy meatballs, I think this is a spicy meatball.
Perfect.
He was emailing me. He sent me a message going, I hope I can shoot everything, and I think if he gets good matchups and he gets the spells off, then it will wreck. I mean, basically, for people that don't know, then it's the sorceress who has, he's actually got redundancy there. So he's got 2 sorceresses, both with Vitriolic Spray. And what he's looking to do is Vitriolic Spray, once it's cast, it's very short range, so he's putting it through the Umbral Spell Portal, and it reduces a unit's save characteristic to dash. So he's got loads of low quality, no rend shooting, but he's looking to basically point at something, make it have no save. So, for example, or I don't know, something with a really good save. Let's say a big block of Iron Breakers on a 3-up save, and then he's just gonna say, "Sorry, lads, no save," and then unleash holy hell from all of that really relatively mediocre shooting.
I really like it. I think it's excellent, and it's a nice little inclusion. Getting it up the board obviously is going to be the element there that's the issue, but that's why the spell portal's there. That's its job. Sit at the back of the board and take your save away. What a classic Mumford move at this stage. Adam the Freedom Fighter Mumford. Next up, so this is a list. This is a list that horrified me when I read it. Alan joins with his Lumineth Realm Lords. This is spicy meatballs. How do you feel about this one, Owen? Have you looked at this?
I've had a quick look. I mean, he's the basic wisdom that you hear on a lot of podcasts and stuff is that if you take Techless, you can't really take any of the heroes. So he's gone screw that, and he's taking Techless and the Light of Alfarian. He's in Zytrek, which I've played against Sire quite a few times, which is your sort of double dip. Aether Quartz, crack addict list, but this Zytrek is that's very much a casting buff build. Is that correct? I think so.
Zytrek is the mountain build. Zytrek.
No, that's your Metrica.
Oh, that is your Metrica. This is, by the way, me doing strong arm Chinese kung fu. which
Here
I
we
did
go.
study, actually, so.
I've got all of my battle tomes next to me. So Zytrek, it's +1 to the first casting, spelling, unbinding. You can attempt to unbind. Yeah, it's basically it's looking to get some more consistency on the spell casting. So then 10 wardens, 10 sentinels, 10 sentinels, 10 sentinels, 2 5s of riders.
So see the thing that I think is really interesting here about this list is the spell loadout. Also, thank you very much to Draconda for donating £5 to the show, so I could have 2 sandwiches. But again, I'm never paying £5 for a sandwich, so thanks so much. That's lovely of you. So the thing that I think is interesting, obviously you've got Teclis, and obviously he's got the spell portal. So what you're rocking is you're able to do the Technado, which still makes me. I'd forgotten it was a thing until I read the list, and I was like, oh my god. Anyway, the thing I think is interesting here is the spell loadout. He's obviously got Speed of Heesh 3 times from the Sentinels and 2 of the Dawn Riders, which I do think is a really clutch spell. But also Total Eclipse is twice. Not forgetting that Teclis already has all of those spells. He knows those already. But I think it's interesting to see what he's kind of like put a redundancy into of. Did that make sense? Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. No, you're right. I mean, Total Eclipse is, again, so obnoxious. The spell where you have to spend board wide, you have to spend 2 CP every time you want to use a command ability, which is just... Oh yeah, that's a good point. Age of Sedmar in the chat. No Cathalar.
And also not the battalion.
Yeah. So he is going to be a little bit susceptible to the alpha. If there's I know there's one KO. Shout out to Arthur. There's a KO army here. I mean, that would worry me. He's not going to outdrop most KO builds, and they can take Teclis off on turn 1. That's quite. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the spell loadout's pretty heavy as well. Rune of Petrification's on there as well, and Geminids. So he's gone for like some big loadouts on points. Which the conversation is always, if you're taking Teclis, you already need a bunch more, but like you're already light on bodies, and in this situation, even lighter on bodies. In reality, if you actually go down to the it's not damn it! I always love a good War Scroll builder. Shout out to Tony P. Kick out, because I love to see. At this point, I'm a little bit obsessed with total wounds and then wounds per model. I'm a bit obsessed with like the unit count, the model count, and then the wound count as a kind of like triumvirate of like general knowledge. But anyway, so cool. I don't want to spend too long on that, but be very interested to see how that plays, right? A bit bold, like we said.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to see the light of Altharion for a change. He is a cool little... he doesn't synergize with anything, and I would be a little bit worried because he's got... I was going to say he's only got 1 Master Caster and 3 spells, but I suppose the battle line, the Wardens and the Sentinels, they can cast endless spells, can't they?
They can... Yes, I think... Yes, they can. But like the Sedmar was saying in the chat, basic casters will be at +2 to cast near Teclis. So they'd be at +4 to cast with the Twin Stone. So the reliability. So effectively, when he's playing against those armies, and you talked about Ideneth and the Alpha, which I think is interesting. But ultimately, like after turn 1, they're going to be spending 2 CP every time they want to spend a command point, which is really big on them for a load of different reasons. You know, reroll. I know they got innately reroll charges, but the battle shock test is a big one. So inspiring presence, and also being able to stack those command ability attacks is also pretty big. So you know, he's playing every game with his opponent spending 2 CP on every ability, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. And the only downside is it's small. But it's a small army, so he's triple locked in Speed of Hish on 3 different units. So you can see that he recognizes that if he's going to sort of castle, and then he needs to break out later in the game. Cool. Who's next?
So we got mixed list of Alex Bulavinov. I hope I got that right. Well done, Alex. So he's also given his list a name, which I always love: Plague, Smoke, and Mirrors. So it's a Legion of Chaos Ascendant army with a Corruptor. It hasn't got the General's trait on, but it will definitely be the ability for the Aura, which gives you a 5+ DPR as opposed to anything else. Then he's got Bladebringer on an Exalted Chariot, which I think is... I haven't played this army. I really like that pick because he's put the 4-fold blade on the Bladebringer, which I think is really nice. And then another Bladebringer, and then the Epitome, which, like, you just don't leave home without the Contorted Epitome. Is it the best unit ever? Maybe. I don't know. It feels like it is sometimes. It's strong.
It's so good they put it up 10 points.
How dare you? If you spend 10 more points, you get Scragrot, basically the same. And then you've got 3 lots of 10 Demonettes, 2 lots of 10 Seekers, and then he's got the Host of Depraved. And then he's got Mesmerizing Mirror, which is, again, a great spell. And he's got that Warp Lightning Vortex, which is also really, really strong as well. Because he's going to be able to... It's interesting, no Be'lakor. I always think that's interesting. But, yeah, I like it. I like
it's
that.
Nice. It's nice to see something different, isn't it? I mean, you often get your sort of Corruptor, Rotigus, Kairos kind of build with minimal troops and then a big block of Kadai, the kind of thing that Antu runs. Whereas this is good. It's 2-drop as well with the battalion. I think the battalion gives them +1 to wound on the charge. So basically the whole army is 3s and 3s because Slanesh tends to be 3s and 4s. And you're right, like those chariots, I've ran them in Loka and they've got the impact. I think you do D6 mortal wounds at the start of the combat phase. They soak up the fight on death really nicely. And it's nice and fast. And then obviously he's only going to be able to summon more Demonettes. That's the only downside I see there. He hasn't got a cheeky little Nurgle hero, so you can bring some Plague Bearers or some horrors from a Zeech hero. So, but yeah, it's cool. Fast, killing.
So he can bring Plague Bearers on, which I think is good. From the Corruptor, because he's a Nurgle hero.
Oh, he's got the Nurgle keyword. Apologies. Okay, yeah. Cool. Okay, good. In that case, I think that would have been a misstep to only bring sort of Demonettes on. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like it. I agree with Semar in the chat. Really loving having him in the chat today. I was going to message you after, but I'll just tell you now. Just some really quality comments in the chat. So thanks for being here. Like it's nice. The mirror. The reason I always took the mirror was to deal with characters. I just throw it at your army, and I'd hope I'd kill all your characters because there's the potential to do that, and it's a spell you have to stop every time. And then Warp Lightning Vortex, as we know, is still just super powerful. And if you play in any scenarios in the midfield, like where objectives are in the midfield, you can just throw that your opponent's side of the objectives, and then you're just starting to just wound them just because they exist. Just rolling it just rolling it out the box. It's hard.
The Ratman says that you have to take an inordinate amount of mortal wounds. So listen to the Ratman when he puts his triangle down.
So anyway, talking about Legion of Chaos Ascendant players, obviously Antu in the chat, not in the chat, sorry, Antu has been playing a load of these TTS tournaments. So this is one of those lists we don't need to talk about much. It's a change host. It's a 2-drop because obviously the Fate Master who you always put in isn't in the battalion for the change host, and then he's got 2x6 flamers, and he's got 2 lots of 10 pink horrors, and then he's got the Eternal Conflagration coven. So all of those shots are re-rolling to hit because of the Fate Master, and they have got rend of 1, which is quite important as well. So and as you can see, he's not even taken any, there's no spell portal. There's none of that. So it's just going to move. I think it's going to play very aggressively forward, which is very, very different to how I think some of the other change host lists have played, where they've kind of sat back and kind of beat into the midfield. I think in this situation, he's going to go real aggro real early. He's going to put so much in your face that you're not going to deal with it, and then start mortal wounding and shooting you off. Because there's a lot of shots coming out of those pink horrors. A lot of shots.
Yeah. People underestimate the shooting from the horrors, especially with the rend on them and the rerolls. They're pretty nasty. So it's not like you're just having to deal with a screen that's going to tank, and it's the flamers that are doing all the damage. Those pinks can do some damage too. Yeah, so it's pretty classic Eternal Conflagration, as you say. So shooty, right? That's
all
the
day
order
long.
Of the day. That's where we are.
So next up, talking about shooty, Arthur Volgaris. That's a great name. He's definitely a Dothraki.
Arthur's a legend. He's a South London Legionnaire, but he's living in Australia. So, one of the crazy Aussies who's staying up late or getting up early, one of the two. But he's excited to play this, actually. It's a cool...
Okay, so
Um,
it's a Ziflin list. So I expect to see a Warp Lightning Vortex. I do. Perfect. And it's the Gunstruck Escort Wing. There's an Ironclad, Gun Hauler, 15 Thunderers. So this is like, and the Engine Master with dirigible suit. So these are all key pieces that you see here in this list. Like, we talked about this before. If you want like a deep dive on this KO list, you can go listen to AOS Tubbs talk to me. So Sean Tubman talking to me about like KO earlier. It can be super aggro early, or it can not. Your choice. So it can drop on you and do the Warp Lightning Vortex kind of like alpha, or it can not. But big units obviously is the Ironclad and the Thunderers and the Gun Hauler. There's a lot of output there. But like Tubbsy said, you're missing loads of bodies. You don't have tons of bodies in that list.
No, you tend to see a few less Thunderers and maybe some more Arco company in the more recent list, and I haven't seen the Engine Master with a dirigible suit popping up too much. I think people are taking the generic one on foot that does the healing, but yeah, it's got all the tricks really, that hasn't it, with the Zilfin move and things. So I think it'll do well. And the only KO player.
Interesting. Yeah, I think like we talked about with Tubbs, I think one of those key bits is I think there's an animal has moved into my office. I've just escaped. Never mind. We can come back. I think there's a pigeon who lives in here now. That's great. Oh, perfect. Man of the people. Oh no, man of the animals. Yeah. I am. Anyway, so next up, a man who needs no introduction, but we should give him one anyway. Studio Worst with Mr. Benjamin Sava is running. We talked about this list a little bit last time. Big fan of this. So it's a Nurgle list, and it's got Horticulus Slimmux, 3 of Nurgle in the Nurgle's Menagerie, which is a really important thing. So you'll be able to put the Feculent Gnarlmaw down several times. It generates a ton of CP. He's got 30 Plague Bearers, 2 lots of 20 Chaos Marauders. And he's got the Glotkin in there, which I'm a big fan of the Glotkin's inclusion. He's come down in points, and I think he is the one.
Yeah. I've played this recently, and he has made some changes. He was obviously rocking Blight Kings in assist for the output, whereas he's leaning into the Marauders for the output now. But yeah, it's cool. It's got summoning. It can put down loads of trees, and it's a real summoning engine. So, and it's obviously got loads of good anti-shooting tech in there. Easily get to -4 to hit, 2 wound Plague Bearers, which sounds pretty disgusting.
But I'm a huge fan of Glotkin on Marauders. That combo is just really nice. If he gets the spell off, the problem is, and I saw someone make a very astute tweet online, don't know who it was. Someone was like, if Nurgle just got a +1 to cast anywhere in their book, they'd be like an entire tier above where they're at now, or a reroll to cast or something. They just don't have it. But if that if Blades of Putrefaction goes off, if 2 wound Marauders go off, because they got the Nurgle keyword, they also get with the command ability from the Glotkin, they also can have +1 attack. So you can just go wild in that situation, and then the Harbinger makes them survivable. So it's a sort of scary army, but the ability to late game summon, I think, is the kind of trick there. You feel like you're dealing with the Plague Bearers and Marauders, and it's a bit of a good old hammer and anvil. Those old Warhammer Fantasy Battle players who are still like crying over square bases, they'd have a great time with this, wouldn't they? They'd be flank charging. They'd then get the rulebook out for 8 hours and work out what a flank charge is, and then they'd be moving on. I really like the list.
I don't know how fantasy players would get on with sort of like a giant slug with a demon on top of it that populates the board with trees. That doesn't seem very rank and flank to me.
No,
but,
they just make it.
I didn't play fantasy.
Yeah, they just make it out of, I don't know, something terrible, like whatever.
Lego.
Yeah, but great guy, great list. Okay, let's go on. Boogie. OCR Bone Reapers has got 40, 30, 10 Mortex, Catacross, and Arcan, and 5 Cavalos Death Riders in Praetorians. So, I'm not sure there's tons to say about that.
I think that the one thing that he's looking at, I just noted it in my mind, it's a real sort of attrition army, because he can bring back 6 models to 4 units every turn if Arcan and Catacross stay alive. So he's obviously not got Bone Shapers, and he's just got Arcanonic to bring back 3 models to 4 units, and Catacross does the same. So he's probably looking to just tank, stuff dies, bring it back, and just grind his way through. Obviously, with the +1, it's like the new taking Mortis Praetorians is like the new Petrifax, isn't it? Because you get the +1 save. So it's good, and Arcan's fast for late game. I just think there's maybe too much around that's going to shoot the heroes off. I don't know.
Heroes, right? Catacross is pretty tough. I think Catacross will be fine.
Are you forgetting Sheffield Slaughter? Turn 1, Speckles lost his Catacross to shooting. Sorry, Speckles.
I'm never forgetting that. I have a reminder on my phone that occasionally reminds me every 14 days just to cheer me up.
It was glorious.
And then I text him. Right. Next up, Charles Hollam, Colonel Cabbage himself, who is arguably one of the funnest weirdos in my life. And I love him forever. I just want you to know that. So eyeball you, Colonel. Eyeball you. He's the Alpha Beast. Do you want to remind us what this is?
So, no, this is something brand new from the lab of the Colonel. His list is called Wait No Cows, I've Made a Huge Mistake. Hello, darkness, my old friend. That's the name of the list. I hope you appreciate me singing that last bit quick. He's got a Beast Lord, Gob, the Grand Chariot Master, and then he's got 3 times 10 Gauls, Billy Goat's Gruffs, and then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of 4 Tuscarora chariots and 1 unit of 2. I think he's been hanging out with Adam Mumford too much, to be honest with you. This stinks of Mumford, doesn't it?
It does. It's very spammy, but I really like it. There's a lot. Can you guys hear the bird too?
Yeah, I can hear the bird. Yeah.
I am terrified. Oh my god. Anyway, okay. Dear God. I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to go rescue it after the show. How's it got in? Through the roof? I don't know. Anyway, sorry everyone. Sorry to podcast guys and everyone else. I can't deal with that. Use my vegan mind powers to defeat the bird. I'll befriend it in a Pokeball. Right, so a lot of Tuscarora chariots. I really like this list. Loads of impact hits, mortal wounds. I'm sure Charlie will tell us more about it another day. Sounds fun though, right?
Yeah, and it's all in Brasta spoilers. So he's quite low drop, I think, as well. So he's just going to be able to run at things with like pigs with sort of little chariots behind them. Yeah, it's going to be great. And they've all got great names. There's Lady Hawley Goatsworth, Viscera Bather. You're completely thrown by this bird, aren't you?
I'm listening to the whole thing. Continue.
No, it looks great. I think it's not going to be something that he would ever put on the table in real life, I don't think. It's a bit like your Slaves to Darkness impact hit, chariot list, or your Living City Scourge Runner chariot. Kind of loads of board control and board presence. Yeah, I'm sure Charlie can explain more what it does. But yeah, he's in Brasta spoilers, so they're all.
And it's a 1-drop, so he's going to get a lot of choices, really. And also, those Tuscarora chariots are super cheap, so it's a lot there. So next up, Cole Wright. Cole Wright is running Magic and Nurgle. So it is just the Blight Cyst with 45 Blight Kings and Lord of Afflictions, Lord of Blights, and a Harbinger. It's a great list. It's definitely one of the Nurgle archetypes. It's totally worth running. Solid list. Real question is, can you or can you not deal with that many Blight Kings? That's the question the list asks, right? Yes or no?
Yeah. Looking at it, 208 wounds. And I know Cole. He's a good Nurgle player, and so he'll know what he's doing. I think the tricky thing is those kings. The 20, from what people have been saying, can be a little bit unwieldy. The 20 can be tagged quite easily. But if he can deliver them, obviously run in charge with the trees, then roll some 6s and kill the world, right?
That's all you need to do. That's literally all you need to do. It's pretty simple. So next up, Daniel Elkington is running. This is quite fun. So it is a Nurgle list, and it's formatted a bit weird. Hold on. So
I think it's Battle Scribe. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right.
Oh wow! Who uses Daniel? Who uses Battle Scribe for building lists? What the fuck? Anyway, Nurgle's Menagerie. So he's got Slimmux as well. 3 Beasts of Nurgle. Look at that. Benjamin's starting a trend as always. Corduroy suits haven't really caught on, but this has. So, 1 out of 2 is not bad. Then he's got MSU Plague Bearers, which I think is interesting. So he's got a Great Unclean one with the Mchale, and then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Plague Bearer units in 10s. Is there a battalion there? The Taliban. So it's a 2-drop. 2-drop. That's really interesting.
And then he's got a Palisade to help out with the shooting. Yeah, I appreciate the fact he's got 7 times 10 Plague Bearers as well. So he's obviously a narrative player.
It's very narrative. It's excellent.
Yeah.
I think the battalion actually makes you do that.
Oh, really? Okay. And yeah, I mean, it's going to have loads of board presence with loads of trees and loads of MSU. Yeah, he's going to have a good time. Definitely.
Good. Again, apologies to everyone about the bird. Like, I've got headphones on, so I don't know. I can hear it through the headphones, so I imagine you guys can hear it quite audibly, which is... it's maybe it's my Twitter account and it's just come alive. It's just, like, sick of me now and it just wants to... Anyway, next up, Daniel the Everchosen in a weirdly... He's the Everchosen, yet he plays Seraphon? Interesting. Anyway, so he's got Thunder Lizard and he's got Croak, obviously, Star Priest, Astaroth Bannerbearer, Old Blood, whatever. But he's got, in that Thunder Lizard, he's got that double Bastillodon build. He's got Geminids as well, and he's got 20 Saurus Guard, and he's got 10 Saurus Knights and 10 Skinks. That's quite interesting. That's like a very... I quite like that, because you normally see 5 Saurus Guard, like babysitting Croak, but I like the idea that someone just kind of leans into the Saurus Guard unit and thinks, cool, if I'm spending 100 points, I'll just go a bit deeper. I'll make it so that my survivability for Croak is so much higher, but also I've got a combat unit as well at the same time. It's kind of a nice, like, push into the defense, which people take, right?
Maybe he's just breaking the meta and going combat Croak. So, like, his Royal Guard, he's going to just advance up the board, not hide in the corner like everybody else does. He's not going to bother teleporting, because that's, really 2019 thing to do. He's just going to march up Croak up the middle of the board, naked to the wind, with a big phalanx of guard in front of him, and then big laser basties in the background shooting everything else off. Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge deviation from a standard Thunder Lizard, but yeah, you're right. It's got some other elements in there. It's going to be really good, of course. Baron
also,
Geminids plus Croak is like bye-bye to all your support heroes. So yeah.
I know Nick will be really excited about it, because he's a big fan of combat slans all day long. And also, don't forget, like, as everything moves up, if it wants to move up, it doesn't have to. Seb thinks that it won't be. What he's going to be doing is just bunkering up. But ultimately, he's got some really solid backline shooting in those one-up, unrenderable save Bastillodons, don't forget. So then double shooting as well. So again, play the midfield game really well, I think.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Dave Potts trying it hard here with the Gloomspike Gits. All credit to Peter Atkinson. I thought he was an Aussie. I thought he was. Model Citizens is an Aussie crew. So he's running a destruction. He's Gloomspike Gits list, but I think he is running, if I'm right.
It is Jaws of Mork.
Jaws of Mork.
Jaws of Mork. Yeah. Which I've made legal. An interesting thing, just a tiny side. I'd like to know what other people who run events think, but the way that I've ruled it is that White Dwarf supplemental rules are legal for all of my tournaments during the season, as it were. So if White Dwarf rules are released from GHB 2020 to GHB 2021, they're going to be legal. So I didn't want to stop people having fun bringing new stuff. So I'm going to allow all sort of current White Dwarf rules in. So there are a couple of Jaws of Mork lists, and this is one of them.
Well, I think Jaws of Mork is a much needed update for Squigs to bring them back on, and I think the old colossal squig there is a choice. That's I've seen that doing the rounds. The big colossal squig is going to do some competent damage, which will be really fun. And he's obviously got the Moon Jumper Stampede Battalion in there as well. So I'd be excited to see how that plays. I think those lists are going to continue to do really well. Not do really well. They might start to do well. I don't think they're ever going to win tournaments, but those Jaws of Mork squig armies are going to do fine, is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, people love that range, and they want an excuse to get it on the table. So it's just a punchier glass hammer. It's still a glass hammer, but it just kills more when it punches. So it's fun to play, but it'll get shot off quite easily if he gets the wrong matchup. Okay. Talking of shooting, look at that. That was a segue there, Rob. I'm getting better at this.
You did it. Like Eric is a great guy. Terrible formatting. He has got, it looks like a shootcast list, only I can't work it out. There we go. 12 Vanguard Raptors with long strike bows. There we go. And then 3 units of 3 Aether Wings.
And 10 Evos in there as well.
So he's gone the other way with this. It's where a lot of people are taking like that triple battalion for the 1-drop. This is going the other way, where it's just saving all that 400 and so points and putting that into having some other units on the board. I think, if I can read this well, which I can't. I'd like everyone to know that. But yeah, that's pretty good. But 12 Vanguard Raptors shooting twice is going to be pretty grim.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got a Vexillor banner in there to move them around as well, and then Aether Wings to cap, and then some cheapo Liberators. It is nice to see. I think there's 2 Stormcast lists, so
it's nice to see them back. But they're definitely being involved in that shoot game, and that's a big unit. Again, just to reiterate, that unit of 12 Vanguard Raptors with long strike bows is 680 points. It's only 24 wounds. Only 24 wounds, so even some half decent mortal wound output can start to really just take those, reduce the effectiveness of that unit. But like you said, those 10 evocators are also a very solid unit. Between them, the evocate unit and the Raptors unit is 1100 points in the army. So it's just, and I do worry how he'll struggle on multiple objective missions. So depending on what the missions are, which we don't know yet. It'll be fun. Next up,
I'll announce them. I'll announce them at the end, actually, if that's all right, Rob, because people are waiting on that. So I'll do that. Yeah, this is one you'll like. This one, I think.
Okay, tell me about it.
So, well, you're going to have to tell me because it's a Guild of Summoners list from Francesco Giardino. He's rocking Archaon, the Everchosen, legend, Be'lakor, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Kairos, Fate Weaver. And then he's got 20 Chaos Marauders, 2 times 10 Kyrok Acolytes, and Chronomantic Cogs.
Yeah, okay, so Guild of Summoners means that for the first time when he gets to 9 summoning points, he's going to be able to put a lot of change down. So that's the Guild of Summoners. I'm pretty certain, if anyone wants to correct me on that. So he's going to be able to put another character down. He's light on bodies, as you've seen there. He has got 20 Chaos Marauders and then those 2 times 10 Acolytes, but it's quite low. But he's then got Wind Up Archaon, so he can just throw Archaon straight at you. Be'lakor can shut down a big important unit. Chaos Sorcerer obviously can do what the Chaos Sorcerer Lord does, which is excellent. And then Kairos is also really good as well. So he's got, it's a control deck, which is quite interesting. So he's got some, backfield shooting. He's going to be able to cast extra spells, so he's going to try and generate a lot of summoning points really quickly. And Be'lakor can shut stuff down. Archaon's obviously excellent. And Fate Weaver can also even just shut down some stuff with those spells as well. So, not spells, sorry, with that ability. So, some really good ability to control the board space. But I'd be interested to watch this army play, I think. I think it's got a lot of mechanics which Francesco will be playing himself, which his opponent won't really be a part of. So it's whether or not he's got enough tools to deal with stuff.
I think that he can make those. He can make his hero super survivable. But if someone, I don't know, it looks like the kind of list that really has to be played well. There's a point in the chat which is right, which is cogs. Make Kairos or Archeon have a rerollable save. So I'd imagine it might even be Archeon. You get cogs down, get him on a rerollable save, and then just throw him at your opponent and get him to deal with what what he can offer. And there's, as you say, there's loads of control, and you've got Kairos' spell just to poke and auto kill. Do 6 mortal wounds to a little hero. Yeah, definitely one to watch, that one, I think, because if someone picks apart the troops, then there's nothing to score. So it's a tricky one.
Okay, so next up, Luctant Levant. Oh no, sorry, I missed out Greg. Sorry, Greg, buddy. Greg,
wait, this is a good one.
So he has got Gabriel Shawhart. Oh my god, 2017. Oh my god, not even 2017. Weird 2017, like Edgelord 2017. Well done. He's got 3x5 Liberators. If anyone's upset by the bird, he lives here now. He's my friend, and don't be. So he's got 12 Evocators on Dracoline, and then he's got 6 Evocators on Dracoline. And that unit of 12 Evocators on Dracoline is the most expensive unit I've ever seen in Age of Sigmar, ignoring obviously the Chaos Dragon. It's 1,040 points for 12 Evos on Dracoline. Is mental. Terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, it's got a big hammer. I mean, I think, oh god, those Evos on Dracolines, they're really good on the charge because they get the extra damage on the claws and stuff. And he's obviously having fun with this, definitely.
Yeah, he is. If Prince McGiggle in the chat, if this is you, to be fair though, he drops down, he one charges, he can pin an entire army back for maybe 2 turns, like if he does it right. And then he's just like, cool, I'm going to score. Liberator's just going to hold Prince McGiggle. I think the fact that your Twitch name is Prince McGiggle and this is your list, I know everything I need to know about you. Number 1, I'll be your friend. Number 2, I'd play Warhammer against you any day. Good. Great list.
I think, great list, great guy. Double G for Greg. He's going to have a wicked time. Unless there's some secret tech in there we're not appreciating.
There's nothing
it's
in
gonna
there.
Run.
It's going to run forward. It's just a full cavalry charge. It's the Ride of the Rohirrim, but with tigers. It's the Tiger King versus everyone else's Carol Baskin.
Versus the world.
Yeah. So Lucta Levant has got a terribly formatted list, which is a Feast Day Flesh Eater Courts army with an Arc Regent, and he has got... I just can't read that fucking list. I'm not reading it. So he's got a Flesh Eater Courts. I'm sorry, Owen. I'm not reading it.
No, you're okay. It's one thing I know is that he's a very proficient Seraphon player, but he doesn't want to play that army anymore because he wants more of a challenge. So props to him for that.
That is cool.
Feast Day. So it's So he's been playing FEC and learning more how to play FEC just as a bit of a break from sort of rolling people over with Seraphon all the time. So he's props to him. But yeah, it's a Ghoul King on a zombie. So we've got a zombie dragon. He's got a Ghoul King, an Archregent. So he's got a Terrorgeist, a zombie dragon, a king, an Archregent, and then some courtiers and some ghouls. Is he running any? Has he got a battalion in there? No, he's got the chalice. So yeah, it's solid. I mean, it does suffer in the shooting matchup, I think. But yeah, Feast Day, he's going to be able to pile in an attack twice for free every turn, not every battle round, every turn. So that does give him 10 free activations. And I know you love an activation, a double activation, Rob, especially a free one, eh? You don't even have to spend a CP.
The only thing I hate more than fighting twice for a CP is shooting twice for a CP. But I hate them both probably equally. Next up, James Beeden. James Beeden with Seraphon. He has got a Cottle's Claw, so a little bit different, which is nice. He's got Croak. Wow. Scar Veteran on Carnosaur. He's got Starseer, Sunblood. Whoa! Excuse me. There is no Ashloth Banner Bearer here. And then he's got 10 Saurus Knights, 2x5 Saurus Knights, and then he's got 30 Saurus Warriors, which is nice. And he's in the Fire Lance Temple Host and the Sunclaw Temple Host. Okay. All right. Really nice. Really nice. So he's really leaning in there to the Saurus element of the Seraphon. Big fan of this. What do you think?
Yeah, I've played James in real life, and he's like a proper OG Seraphon player who doesn't want to just spam the most powerful stuff. So I don't think I've ever seen him play Salamanders or anything like that. So, yeah, I think he loves his Saurus and he wants to make them work. And I think there's a few tweaks here between this and the last tournament. I think he's getting better and better with this. So, yeah, it's nice to see. I have to admit, I don't know what the Fire Lance and the Sunclaw do, but I presume it's very much down the line of buffing all those warriors to shit. You can get lots of pluses to hit, I believe. And the Scar Veteran on the Carnosaur, I'd imagine he can do his commander ability.
Oh, no, plus one to hit. Plus one to hit.
Plus one to hit. So there's lots and lots of low quality attacks. I think that's the thing.
Good. Yeah, low quality. It's kind of like my chat lines, just low quality, but many of them.
Just bombard them.
Yeah. So then Jason Egley has got a Gloomspike Gits list, and again Jaws of Mork. That's definitely what we're seeing here. Yep. Loonboss on Mangler Squigs, Loonboss on Cave Squig, Cave Shaven, another Cave Shaven, and then he's got 10 Squig Hoppers, 2 times 12 Squig Herds, and then he's got 2 times 10 Point Crop Pounders. He's got 60 Snufflers and Mangler Squigs, and he's got the 2 new battalions from from the what's the right word? The White Dwarf thing. So it's cool. So plus 1 damage on all of those jaw attacks when they charge is not something to laugh about. Those Boingrot Bounty units now are just better than they were for just being in the Jaws of Mork, like twice as good effectively as they were. So there's a lot to say there in that situation. But it's always, Battle Shock's always an issue, and whether or not that they can fight an attrition game, I really don't feel that they can. But you can also summon those units back now a little bit, which is fine. Yeah,
get some little 5s back of those bounders, just plow them forward. And wouldn't it be cool if they did a thing of, it's not right, but if they brought a Mangler back, but on like half wounds or something. But anyway, I'm just wish listing.
I just want him to explode. Yeah. I just want him to explode into a smaller Mangler. So I want like the grots on top to like fall off, and then like a smaller Mangler,
like a Russian doll.
Yeah, of tiny Manglers. Until you get to one last one that you just throw at people, which is a good idea. Next up is John Mckinley with his Slaves to Darkness army. Well done, John. So it is a Despoilers list. He's got a Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince, which is Khorne. Oh, my favourite. Double Khorne Demon Prince. Really into that build. Be'lakor is also great. And then he's got Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Then he's got 3 times 20 Marauders. He's got 15 Chaos Warriors, 10 Cost Warriors, and he has then got 9 Untamed Beasts in the Bloodmark Warband. I really, really like this list. It's really nice.
I knew you'd like this list actually when I saw it, because it's going to look really cool on the table. And Mark of Khorne, I think I've settled that that's probably the best. I think it's reroll 1s to hit and plus 1 to wound, isn't it? So I have got a friend who's running multiple Demon Princes. To great effect, because you've got the pitch black, and I'm not sure the other word, but yeah, they can basically use that ability where they and you can't shoot through it. So there's some shooting, protection, tech. There's loads of battle line there for all the missions. It's low drop. It's got the right spells. It's got whispers. It's got Mask of Darkness. So it's got his teleport. Yeah, I think really, really solid. I think you get reroll charts maybe on the Bloodmark Warband. I'm not sure.
So the key part there, the key part there is that he's controlling the movement. So he's got Be'lakor, and then he's got those 2 Slaves to Darkness Demon Princes. So effectively, what he wants to do is shut units down so they can't charge him, and then he can charge them. Yeah. So he can kind of like load in, and then he's also got that 9 Untamed Beasts. Love seeing that. So it's just able to just like protect a little bit from any alphas early doors. And then after that, he's able to just... I mean, you can mess with Eels so much with that double Demon Prince. It's so much board control. And they're just like... They can get pretty close to you, but they still can fail the charge, which is nice. So big fan of that. Unless they've got Pointy Man, in which case, whatever. But yeah, I really like that list. It's really nice. Next up, John Keatley, Fire Slayers. He's running the Rune Father, Rune Master, Rune Smiter, Battlesmith, and he's 2x20 Hearth Guards. So this is very much what you would see in a traditional Fire Slayer list. However, he's also rocking 2 allies in those Gunstruck Gun Haulers, which are great little allies. Really like them. Super annoying, but a great list. Going to be able to just flood the midfield with his Hearth Guards and then drop some units at the back. Drop some units at the back with the gun haulers and just start shooting at characters, which is fun. I really like that.
Yeah, one thing to know, it's not Hermdar either, it's Vorstag, which is the rapid one. It's really fast. So it's a little bit different, and the gun haulers, as you say, they do solve a lot of problems, don't they? Like, bopping around, picking off characters, getting those far away objectives. Yeah, it's cool, and it's very similar to what he ran before. So he must have been happy with how he did last time. I think he came in the top 5 last time with a similar build. So one to look out for.
Well, Fire Slayers are just really solid anyway. You can either deal with them, you can't, and even if you can't. Next up, Joseph Rost, Blazercorn. So he's got Reaper's Vengeance.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's mean. I just hate reading it. Like, I'm just like, I'm about to see loads of bloodthirsters and have to say mean things, but I'm not.
And you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, well, that's like no now. Just yay, Archeon, great pick. 2 Slaughter Priests, great picks. Bloodsecrator, Bloodstoker, Bloodthirster. Great pick, I guess. But no bodies on the board, of course, there. So, I'll just take turn 1, just kill your scoring units, and then, sure, you can run around, like, I guess, fighting me all day, but I win. But, yeah, fun. What do you think, Owen?
Well, I've played something very similar to this recently for a couple of months, and I'm not playing it at the moment because it does have some hard counters, but Archeon in Reapers of Vengeance is possibly the most fun you can have, especially with the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Truth. So he's given him the 6-inch piling. So Archeon's going to be running around, moving with Blood Tithe, staying out of engagement range. He's going to screw off stuff like if you finish a charge near your skinks, they get to shoot and move away. All that stuff. He's going to be dictating the combats. And then when he goes in, you're going to spend a CP, and because he's a Khorne demon, then he can pile in and attack twice with all the buffs, so +1 to hit and re-rolling wounds from the Bloodstoker, so it makes his Slayer of Kings more. But you are absolutely right. I don't want to give away my list, but I would have made not the Bloodthirster Unfettered Fury, perhaps, and some more bodies and some War Shrines. It needs War Shrines to make Archeon re-roll all his hits and wounds. But yeah, you are right in terms of pick off those weak scoring units, and then all the summoning and all the blood tide will have to be used for summoning rather than progressive movement and stuff, just because there'll be no bodies. But I want Khorne to do well, so I really hope that Joseph has a good time and crack some skulls. But it's hard. And that is hard mode, though. To be honest with you, in a shooting meta, that's hard mode.
It is, which leads us really nicely into Rico's Tempest Eye list here. So he's got a Knight of Zeros, a Celestial Hurricanum, it's Tempest Eye, as said, and it's a Frigo General on Griffin, and then it's two gun haulers, 15 Pistoliers, then 3 times 10 Pistoliers in the Aether Guard Windrunners, very much like we saw Joe Purcell run at Sheffield Slaughter, but with the additional Gunstruck Gun Haulers, which again, another great clutch picks there. It's going to be very fast. It's going to do a lot of shooting. It's going to just really hammer you in the midfield, and it's a lot of low quality shots. It's going to struggle. It's going to struggle against the other Tempest Eye build, which is all of the Dwarden, because it just doesn't have enough Ren to punch through. But against some lightly armored stuff, it's just going to ping a lot of shots. But it's decent. It's a good list. I really like that.
Yeah. If he plays it well and you can tag with it and you can it's just so many bodies at those cavalry bases. It's just going to flood. And then as you say, Joe ran something very similar, and he came third with it, didn't he? I believe that's Slaughter. So it's a good list. Yeah.
So then the next one is Josh Mchale. He is running a Fire Slayer list which is maybe an Auric Rune Father and a Rune Smite and a Rune Master. Nailed it. A Battlesmith. And then there are 5 Hearthguard Berserkers, 5 more, 20 Hearthguard Berserkers, and then 30 Auric Hearthguard, which is a different pick normally. It's Lords of the Lodge, though, and it's Hermdar. So it's not too dissimilar to the list we looked at earlier. I don't really ever have anything creative to say about the Fireslayer lists. Like, I wish I did, but it's a great guy, great list. That's what I'm going to go for. Like, there's not much to say, so we'll move on. So next up, oh wow, Masic Merzeszczytuski.
I'm going to go with Mchale Majewski.
Either way,
I don't know. Either way, he's a lovely man, and he's from Poland, and he's very nice every time he emails me with questions. So, his list is called Watson's What Award. I think he meant to put Watson's What Award, but I think he's trying to get the list award from Darren. So yeah, you'll know more about this. Wait,
what?
New, this, isn't
Owen,
it?
you got the name right. You got is the first name right. Well done, nailed it. Proud of you. So just look at this list. It's really nice. Having talked to Mark the other day on our kind of Skaven list show, we broke some stuff down. There's some really nice elements there. That 40 Storm Vermin is a solid combat unit. Those Scryer Acolytes, excellent output. Can't believe 20 Scryer Acolytes is only 200 points. That's so much output. 2 times 40 Clan Rats as well. Also, big fan of that. That is 80 wounds for 400 points. Holding objectives that are just in the way, which is great. Bombardier, Claw Lord, who's great with the Storm Vermin. Arch Warlock with the Vigor Dust Injector. Warp Lightning Vortex, which is also a great pick. But then Thanquol and Bone Ripper. Yeah, baby. Looking to deal with a lot of stuff. I'm interested in this list because I think I don't know how it plays into shooting particularly, but it does kick out a lot of output, and it's quite a traditional army, and I really like it. It's nice, big monster, scary, out loads of shooting, good fighting, good list. I like it.
Yeah, it looks really balanced, and I think if people are teching to put lots of bodies on the board to soak up all of this shooting, like these tank lists, like your Fire Slayers and your Nurgle, then Thanquol makes a mess of them. I mean, I've lost a whole unit of Mortek Guard to Thanquol's shooting attack. So it's got loads of threats. It's cool. I like it. Yeah, you'll have a good time with that, I think.
Okay, next up, Matt Kent, Ogre Moor Tribes. Our first one of the Moor Tribes to look at. So, he has got Boulderhead, as you said, Stonehorn. He's got Frostlord on Stonehorn. He's got the Brand of the Svard. Then he's got the Frostlord on Stonehorn as well. Metal Cruncher, Black Clathorn on the other. Then he's got 4 Stonehorn Beast Riders. It's all it is. It's just loads of Stonehorns. Just loads and loads of Stonehorns. It's just brilliant, that list. It's just no messing about.
Yeah. Just monster trucks for days, right? Just put them on the line. Yeah, he's not even being a hipster and putting any a Huskard on a Thunder Tusk for those shooting and stuff. It's just he wants to go in and he wants to smash. Yeah, man. Good on Matt.
Yeah, good work, Matt Kent. Love that list. Then Deepkin, you got Matt Goddelsberg there. He wrote a poem at the top, which I hate. And I need you to know that, Matt. I don't. It's great.
I think it's to the tune of the song from Under the Sea, which is
from Little
Mermaid. Yeah. I might sing it and record it and send it to him just because I know he's put the effort in. But I mean, we're not going to do it now, are we? I just can't believe he's playing Deepkin, man. I mean, he's been playing around with all sorts of interesting stuff, and then he's
I think
just
it's a fun list to try. I think it's so. So you see it all the time, so you want to try it out, right? It's got loads of eels and Volti. That's the list. I'm just going to run you through that. He's also a lovely person. Michael Peterson is another Lumineth Realm Lords player. He's got the Nation of Sire, so that's the one that we talked about where you get extra Aether Quartz. He's got a Stoneheart King, and then he's got a Stone Mage, and he's got the Cathalar. Then he has got the Behemoth, so he's got the Spirit of the Stone Mountain. So he's got 2 big Goat Mountain men. Then he's got 2 times 20 Wardens, and he's got a unit of 15 Dawn Riders. That is a lot. That is, yeah, I like that. What do you think?
Yeah, and he's got a big cow in there. He's got Alarith, Spirit of the Mountain, thrown in there. So I've played something similar to this. It's the more cow list, I believe it's called. You just put more and more cows in. But yeah, it's Sire, so he can double stack the save. So basically, it's an amazing castle where you're -2 to hit most of the time, and you can then make them +1 to save, or +2 to save when he wants, if you want to double dip on the Aether Quartz. And then, yeah, you've got those 15 Dawn Riders that can go 28 inches when they've got the speed of Hish on them. So I think he's got some poke, because they've both got a nice 30-inch range geomantic blast shot. So he's going to be able to, threaten little heroes. Yeah, it's cool. And then the Stone Mage makes the big cows fight on top bracket, I believe, when they're wholly within 12. So, yeah, it's going to castle up, smash the other army, and then fly out and cap at the end of the game, I think.
I don't think it's going to play like that at all. I think the Dawn Riders going in super early, tie up the army as you move into the midfield, and then counterpunch. As you try and deal with the Wardens, they're going to counterpunch with the big Stone Mountain Men. That's how I see that playing. The Dawn Riders, because it's speed of Hish, they don't really have any, apart from the shooting from the big goats. Cows, whatever. You don't really have any way to project power into the backfield. So I think that's not his plan. I think he's going to run up and he's going to put those Dawn Riders right in someone's face, which is not going to be fun for someone. But I like it. I like the over-egging of the 15. It's very cool. So Morgoth is running Seraphon. He's got Dracothian's Tail, Croak, Starmaster, and Ashloth Bannerbearer, 2x10 Saurus Guard and 10 Skinks. Then he's got 2 Salamander Hunting Packs, another Salamander Hunting Pack, and a Vortex. So very similar to stuff that we've seen before. I don't think there's anything there that's rewriting the story, apart from the Saurus Guard being the 210 Saurus Guards instead of Skinks as the battle line, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's the first and only Dracothian's Tail list, so he's obviously just sort of keeping stuff off the board and dropping them down. So it's very much that sort of drop and hose kind of technique of, it's evidently strong because the book's really good. They've got good rules. It's a bit shit to play against, to be honest with you, because you're just playing Age of Screening, I've called it. You just have to continually screen out those sallies. But it's a small army, and depending on what he keeps off the board, they don't like it up on these kind of lists. So if you can storm the castle with some fast stuff, such as the Dawn Riders, for example, in the last list, I think that would give it some trouble. But yeah, Croak, Bearer, Guard, Balewind. It's not bound, but I don't think that matters. It's pretty. Yeah, it's well, this has been played quite a bit and it's very strong. So, you can understand why he's taking it. Yeah.
It's definitely an archetype at this stage. Absolutely. So Pask, go on. Pask is running. This is the list. I didn't buy my French hat today, which I wanted to do this morning, but I will do later. I've decided later I'm only going to do list reviews while wearing a chef's hat. But sacre bleu, I like this. This is perfection. Let me tell you about this. Aspera Hunter, good. Tyrant, good. 2x Frost Saber, great. Skull Battalion, most magnifique. But perfection on top. 60 Noblar. 2 more 60 Noblar. And then finally, 60 Noblar. So many Noblar. Perfection. Exactly what you want.
He's got 300 Noblar. And you know what? He submitted this list on the day I announced the tournament. So he's so confident in this. He's just sat there for 3 weeks going, I don't care what you bring because I'm bringing this.
Sacre bleu, perfection. Perfecto. It's perfect. Yes.
I can't see you, Bob, but I can imagine what sort of...
compliments to the chef. That's my Italian, by the way. This is the best list. All right, yeah. So what? I'm not a language expert. That's my French, and I'm going to be doing it a lot in the future. This is my perfect list, by the way. It's 339 wounds. The Tyrant punches them to make them immune to battle shock, and the Icebrow Hunter and that he actually stays off the board, generating more CP because he's in the scout. It's great.
Yeah.
And
all that CP is gonna just be used for inspiring presence on the guys that haven't been bullied by the tyrant yet. So
yet. Also deploying that in any objective, like in any deployment zone. I'm not even sure you can get all of it in. It's mental and flawless. It's flawless. Like, it's brilliant. You can just screen out. So it's brilliant. Anyway, also big shout out to anyone that could just pick one character off at range, or one unit model off in range. Sorry. And just like break coherency. That's always really funny. Anyway, love that list. That's my list of the day so far. I'd like you to know, Pask. Well done. Paul is right. Next up is running Deepkin.
It's a bit different.
Yeah. Okay. They're all named after different units, which I love. Nemo's Raiders, Yellow Bellies. But it is a Tidecaster, a Soul Scryer, 2x10 Thralls, 3x10 Thralls. Then he has got some 9, 12 Achillean, so defensive eels in units of 3. And then he's running 4 Sharks in single ones. And then he's running another Achillean Ishlan Guard. So actually it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots of defensive eels. And then four Sharks. Actually a lot of board control there. Like, just for like scoring little units. Going to struggle against, I mean, if you place the Noblars, he's just never going to... Oh my god. That is he'll never beat
that's Age of Sigmar in a nutshell there, with the lists that we've just gone through, like 339 wounds of like little snotty goblins with 0 output versus a load of murder sharks.
Absolutely wrong. They get when they're in big blocks, they'll get 2 shots each. Like they will literally, it's 330 shots a turn from the Noblars. It's horrific. Just so many shots. You'll just be like, if you look, they've got a shooting attack and a combat attack. So you can just do like 120 attacks, maybe more. I think it might be twice that. It might be 180. So I think you get 2 in combat. So you can be doing 180 attacks per block of 60 Noblars. It's flawless. It's flawlessly perfect.
6 times 180. That's 1,080. Christ, if he finishes a game, I think I might just mark him as the winner of the tournament.
Oh, it's flawless. Paul is right. No, great guy. Great list.
Yeah, fair play. Like he, just to correct you ever so slightly, Rob. I don't want to do it, but basically he's got 6 units of Ishlan, so 6 defensive, and then he has thrown in 1 unit of attacking eels. He's got 1 unit of Morsar Guard in there, called Shock and Awe.
Everyone's got to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not really trying at this stage. Just 1 though is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Philip Cartev, famous Russian player. I think, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he is running Hermdar, Rune Father, Rune Master, Battlesmith, and Uruk Rune Smiter on Magmadroth, which is the kind of other pick there. He's got 2 lots of 20 Hearthguard Berserkers. He's got 5 Oryx and 2x10 Volkites, and he's in Lords of the Lodge. And he's got the Runic Firewall. So this, I just don't know what to say about any of those lists. They work the same. Maybe there's some really deep tech in there that I don't understand, but ultimately I have to get rid of those 2 bricks of Hearthguard Berserkers. Can I or can I not?
Yeah.
Questions and answers.
Yeah. It's a cookie cutter list, as they call it sometimes, but it's a cookie cutter list because it's really, really good. And if you've played Fire Slayers at all at tournaments, you've probably played something very, very similar to this. They've got a 4-up ignore on the spell against spells. They're -1 to wound in a bubble from the father. Hearthguard Berserkers, they're just what do we call them? Fun Slayers. That's right. Yeah.
Or the Fire Sleepers.
Yeah, the box. It's boring to play against, as Nikos says in the chat.
I think it's also boring to play. Like, it's just no one gives a shit. Everyone's like, "What you like? Oh, you're a ginger nut. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna stand here. If you come near me, you die." Sweet.
It's ruthlessly efficient, and we are playing in a tournament, so people want to win. So they're bringing the hotness.
Yeah, it's all good. Sam Thompson is running Mixed Death. Oh my god! How dare he? Death Rider Battalion. Great choice in Mixed Death. So he's got Dreadblade Harrow, Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed. He's got the Cloak of Mist and Shadows, which is amazing because you're never, ever going to kill that character unless you shoot him, which obviously you will. And his command trait is Rule of the Night. Then he's got Guardian Souls with Nightmare Lantern. He's got Necromancer, Vampire Lord. And then he's got 2x10 Chain Rasp Horde. He's got 5 Direwolves twice. He's got 2x10 Hex Wraiths. And the Black Coach, which will be in the Death Riders Battalion. And then he's got 8 Mimran Banshees and a Corpse Cart for +1 to cast as well. So that's a real nice little pick there. That's good. That's a really fun list. So he's going to be able to make 9-inch charges are going to make him attack twice there. He's going to be able to give +1 attack and pile in an attack twice to those Hex Wraiths. So you're going to get the Hex Wraiths up to 3 attacks each. If they roll a 9 to charge, they're going to be attacking on the charge and then piling in and attacking twice after that. So there's there's a triple combo there, which is really fun. And then the Knight of Shrouds on the Ethereal Steed might also give them another attack as well. So it could be 4. So you could be getting 40. So on the charge. Oh, Hypnoskulls, thanks for subscribing. First time ever. Welcome to the bloody team. Welcome to the crew. So yeah, you might effectively get 120 attacks out of 1 unit of Hex Wraiths, which is kind of
fun. And he's got the Blade of Dark Summons, which is just cool. Do you know what that does? I imagine his Vampire running around with a sword, and at the right time, he just goes summon, and you can basically summon up to 12. I believe it's up to 12 wounds worth of any sort of summonable unit you like. So I've played it once, and you summon 12 free Blade Geists, which is always nice. So you can pop them up. And yeah, lots of. If he gets the spells off, it can go pretty mental. I do have one query on the Hex Wraith though. Are you sure they get the Wave of Terror, whatever it's called, because it just says that the ability goes off on a 9, but they don't have that ability to
No, they do.
Really, they do they? Because I thought that was wrapped up in the book. But anyway,
no.
But he's one of only 4 death lists at the whole tournament, so they're less than 10% of the meta. So good on Sam for sticking with something a bit off meta. And Ethereal's really good on the Rasps and the Hex Wraiths with all this high range shooting going around. So yeah.
All right, next up, Stuart Iron Guts McGowan. Oh my god, I think I'm going to like this already. So he's got Ogre Tribes, he's Winter Bite, very nice. He's got Frosthorn, Stonehorn, good. Metal Cruncher, Alvgar Rune Tokens, perfect. They just sound like a scented candle, don't they? An Alvgar Rune Token. It's just like
I don't know. Yes, it's sort of Scandinavian kind of sandalwood.
Perfect. That's exactly what
you
want.
Tell it?
Yeah.
Can you
soy
tell?
wax candles in sandalwood, the whole thing. Anyway, he's got a Tyrant, and he's got a Fire Belly. Oh my god, a Fire Belly! Hello, soldier. And he's got 2 lots of 8 Iron Guts. He's got 4 Iron Guts. Holy hell! 20 Nobblers, and he's in the Tyrant's Guard. Oh my god! If that ever hits you, it will delete the Earth. It will whatever it hits is dead. I actually would love to see that into Fire Slayers. I'd love to see those 8 Iron Guts just go in. Frostlord out Stonehorn. I'd like to see the triple charge. Stonehorn go in. 2 lots of 8 Iron Guts go in. They do all the mortal wounds, and then they just go, right, time to activate. And they just punch the flip out of them.
With my 3 damage weapons, 2-inch range. Yeah! Iron Guts are sick. Every time I watch Doom and Darkness play with Iron Guts, it's like, so much fun.
But Iron Guts Man is in the chat. He says, just to let you know, it does lose versus Fire Slayers. Can confirm.
Damn it. He may have lost against Fire Slayers, but he's won our heart with the 20 Iron Guts, right?
Yeah, he has. And also, obviously, those Iron Guts are going to murder screens really well and then die, maybe. But, still awesome to see that it's being tried out. Next up, Sunny Delight is the best OJ, is the player. Don't know what that means. I think that's what must be one of your friends. It is a Iron Suns War Clan for Iron Jaws, so it is an Uruk War Clans list. The leader is Owen Jackson, the OG OJ, is the Uruk Mega Boss. You got a War Chanter, another War Chanter, Weird Knob Shaman. He's got 6 Gore Grunters. He's got 3x3 Gore Grunters, and you've got 2x10 Uruk Ard Boys in the Gore Fist. They've been renamed the Smooth Boys, and then he has got 6 Gore Grunters plus 10 Hard Boys in the Pulp Boys. Owen, I feel like there's a story here.
Oh, I've lost your audio. Can you hear me, Rob?
Hello? Yeah, I am talking.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know who this is. He's keeping his real identity secret from us all. I do appreciate how much he's leaned in here, though. Tropicana in the Cabana, the Spanish Mount, the Minute Maid. Yeah, I'm sure he ran out. He was really running out of orange juice puns by the end. But no, this is rad. I really like Iron Suns. I think that ability to charge, at the end of your opponent's charge phase, and yeah, this is seriously fast. Those pigs can motor. So buff and go, right?
Buff and go. Get them War Chanters on the board. My first ban ever probably would be War Chanters if I was in a Super Series. But anyway, so great list. Like, I'd love to see it. Plus, it's pigs. I actually have got that list. I could run that right now, today, tomorrow. That might be what I do when I start playing Warhammer so much. My fingers hurt from rolling dice. It looks fun. It really does. Next up, Tavid Gain. He's got a Coalesced Thunder Lizard list for Seraphon. He's got the Skink Priest, he's got Croak, he's got the Carnosaur, he's got Double Carnosaur, which is fun, and the Star Priest. So again, no Astaroth Banner Bearer there. And then he's got the Saurus Guard to protect Croak. He's got Saurus Knights in a 10. He's got 2 Saurus Knights in 5s. He's got 10 Skinks as well. And then he's got 2 of the Bastillodons, as you would expect to see, and the Bound Burning Head. It's going to be really important because he's going to cast that next to those Bastillodons, so they're going to be re-rolling those ones to hit while shooting twice in that Thunder Lizard list. I think no matter what else you see there in the Saurus Knights or, just in the Saurus Knights, those units are just there to trade realistically, while the Bastillodons just do the work for clearing out anything that they might want to fight. And then those Old Bloods can also get in there and do some really decent work as well. They're in Thunder Lizard, so they're just a load better. It's a fun list. Yeah, and
it'll look like a cool army as well, won't it? You'll have your 2 sort of combat dinosaurs, you'll have your 2 shooty dinosaurs, and then your sort of undead, obnoxious, wrapped in bandages little arsehole on a sort of little throne zapping everybody. I don't like Croak, sorry, but
it's okay.
No, it's
no
cool.
One should. So then Togulator is running a mixed chaos list. We're nearly there now. 4 left. It's Legion of the First Prince. So it's Legion of the Chaos Ascendant, which is from Wrath of the Everchosen. He's got Be'lakor, Fate Weaver, Lord of Change, 2 times 10 Demonettes and 10 Plague Bearers, 12 Fireborn, Life Swarm, which is a really good pick, I think, Spell Portal, and the extra command point there. So very much what we've seen units run before. We've seen Legion of the Chaos Ascendant list run before. That Lord of Change has got the Ruinous Aura, so he's super, he's protected. He's going to try and summon some pink horrors every turn. There's Fireborn, are really tanky in there. Be'lakor shuts down units. Fate Weaver also in there as well. We've seen that quite a few times at this stage, right? It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, I mean, I think Double Chicken is not something you see that often, and that Lord of Change is really trying to protect it because Armor of the Pact is rerollable save. But I do know that Toggy has been playing this a hell of a lot, and he doesn't change his list that much, so I'm sure that he's got his sort of playstyle down with this. But yeah, I mean, Portal, he's going to be able to do Kairos' spell through the portal and kill a little unit. And then those Kadai with, Fight on Death from the Echo of Hatred spell are just nasty. We've seen this quite a bit on TTS, haven't we? It's solid. It suffers a bit for output sometimes, but if you've got the board at that point, then it doesn't really matter, I suppose. It's cool.
It's very cool. I really like it. Next up, Tron Mangler. They've just got less like real names as we've gone on. So we've got Frostlord on Stonehorn, Huskard on Stonehorn. He's got an Ogre Mortribes, Boulderhead Army, Huskard on Thunder Tusken, and an Icebrow Hunter. And he's got 2 times 2 Frost Sabers and 4 Frost Sabers, and he's got 2 Stonehorn Beast Riders in the Skull. So he is just going to be playing very much like we talked about before. But the Icebrow Hunter being able to deep strike and come on with the Frost Sabers is a cool little trick as well, especially as you're just worrying about those Stonehorns thundering at you from the front field. It's good. It's not particularly nuanced. It just hits you super hard. which is I quite like that about the More Tribes lists. It's fun, right?
Yeah, it does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? It's, there's no real super secret tech there. I think you're seeing the rune tokens again. So that's reroll hits, wounds, and saves, I believe, until the next hero phase. So if you're, with the potential of getting doubled, it makes him super tanky and super hitty. So yeah, there's not loads to say, but it's good. That's why people take it, right? And it's fun, and it's good. It's a good TTS army.
Exactly. Then we've got Tempest Eye, we've got Ashqui, from the realm of Ashqui, we've got the Cities of Sigmar list. So got an Anointed of Assyrian on Flamespire Phoenix, which is a cool little pick. I'm a big fan of that. The Celestial Hurricaneum, and then a Rune Lord, who's the General, and a Sorceress, which is also another great pick. Then 20 Dark Shards, 10 Longbeards, 5 Outriders, and then 30 Iron Drakes, which is the big unit there. And then 30 Black Ark Corsairs as well, with the Soul Screen Bridge and Admiral Life Swarm. So those Iron Drakes, big hitters in this list, they really are. The Flamespire Phoenix going to be running around doing mortal wounds, and then everything else is just really there to keep everyone away from the Iron Drakes as they just blammo. I mean, they're going to be so fast on the first turn and so survivable that, you can almost guarantee that second turn level of output from the Iron Drakes. So 2 turns of Iron Drake shooting, not fun. Which is
no, and they're 2s re-rolling 1s to hit and wound, because they get re-roll 1s to wound from the Longbeards, so they're incredibly efficient. Also, just to shout out, this is Buckets, who is a bit of a legend on TTS circuits. He turns up to so many events and organises all sorts of stuff. So I've got to give shout out to Tyler. I think he's playing from Canada, which is the worst time zone to play from to play my events. So a big shout out to him for turning up as always.
But the best country. And then Will White, last one in the bank, saves the darkness. He's got Ravagers. So he's got the Blood Secretor, Chaos Lord and Cartev. I know you're a fan there, Owen. Chaos Lord, Chaos Sorcerer Lord. These are all marked Nurgle. No, Chaos Lord's Khorne. Sorcerer Lord's Nurgle. Chaos Lord of Cartev's Khorne. And then he's got a Blood Secretor allied in. And then he's got 2 lots of 20 Chaos Warriors. He's got a Gore-Beast Chariot. And then he's got 4 lots of 5 Chaos Knights. They've come down in points since the GHB, so that's fun. In the Runebringer Warband. To take us out, Owen, what do you think of this list?
I think it's great. I think, again, this looks like, when you put this on the table, this will just look like an army straight out of like Conan the Barbarian or something, which I love that aesthetic. So he's not gone down the route of taking loads of Marauders, so props, because 40 Khorne marked Marauders is pretty obnoxious. But yeah, he's got like 20 Chaos Warriors. You're going to have to go through 20 wounds of a re-rollable 4-up save and a 5-up against the mortals to get through that brick of 20. So that's a massive anvil that he can put out. And then he's getting impact hits on the charge, I believe, from the Runebringer Warband. And then he's got a Blood Secretor in there, so the Knights with the Lances are going to get 3 attacks each. So I think that's like 16 attacks, which would be 3 4s rolling 1s, and then 2s to wound, -2 damage. And then Ravagers, I believe, is he gets a free summon, doesn't he, for every hero? So he's got little units of Marauders or Untamed Beasts or whatever to come on the sides. So I like the visual side of Warhammer, so I think it will look really cool. It's got hammers, anvils, it's got speed. I don't know all the spells, unfortunately, all the command traits. But that Lord on Carcadrak is like a little mini Stonehorn. He'll go around. So it's cool. It's cool, and it's nice to see Slaves lists, because I think it's a cool book.
Okay, I agree with you. I think it's a very strong book. Real good. Okay, Owen, who do you think is going to take out the event? We already know my French accent win decision. I'm voting for the Noblars.
So you think Pasque gets your reward for the list? Don't forget, we've got top 16 going through to a final day. So I'd like to think that some of the more offbeat lists, let's Mumford in the top 16. That's what we need, really. And also, I'd like to do well. Yeah, I think one thing, actually, before we go, if that's okay, Rob, is I haven't announced the battle plans, and I said I would do during this show. So,
Okay.
Sorry, I've been very rude. What was your favourite list then? The Le Noblars, yeah?
The Noblars.
The
Wow.
Noblars.
Yeah. It's insane. It's truly insane. Like it's also just like blunt force as well. Like, but I really like the double Demon Prince Corn list. I really like that double Demon Prince Corn list. I think is really fun. Really fun to watch someone. Really fun to watch someone play as well. I think that'd be a fun one to watch on the tabletop.
Yeah. So the battle plans for anybody who's playing, who's watching, I'll put this obviously in the Discord, but I'm going to announce them all now. So round 1 will be Scorched Earth. Round 2 will be Battle for the Pass, and round 3 will be Focal Points. So everyone can go away and think how they're going to deploy and win on those battle plans. But as I said, put it in the Discord.
Good battle plans. I like Focal Points particularly. Found out quite upsettingly that catapults are behemoths recently, and so on Focal Points they just sat on those two back objectives. They're like, this is 4 victory points now a turn just for sitting where you're going to sit anyway, which is quite upsetting. Yeah, they're just like lol, and that is just the worst. Yeah. Anyway, and really good for those more tribe lists. Like, might be why we're seeing more of those. If you look at the more tribes list, not ignoring past billion army, they can go and take all those bonus points.
Sorry, I just thought that some people have criticised Focal Points, but I don't think it's a monster meta. And if you're taking monsters, there's a high chance you're just going to get absolutely rinsed by lots of nasty shooting. So I thought I put a battle plan in there which benefited monsters just because they're not, they're not the strongest in the current meta outside of your Stonehorns. So
I really like Focal Points. I think it's an excellent battle plan personally, and really does me. Yeah, I like it. Big fan of that. I would also make people at every tournament play Knife to the Heart, and I wouldn't give a shit what they said. Like, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to play it." It's like, shut up. Like, the reason that you don't want to play it is because you've got to actually go play Warhammer, and you don't want to do that. So, like, you just want to run in a line forward. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite ones. Anyway, awesome source, Owen. I can't wait to have you on next week to find out the results. That'd be fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll be there if you'll have me.
Oh my god, love to. That'd be really good. And also thank you to everyone in the Twitch chat who's joined us live and enjoyed it. I hope you guys, if you are playing at the event, have a great time. I know Owen is a lovely person, so you'll have a great time with the TO. And don't forget, if you're listening and you haven't ever tried any Tabletop Simulator, it is really useful to play. It's really fun. It doesn't feel too dissimilar to the real thing. I'd say it's like just as good, really. Although there's the thing about playing in real life. I think there is something about playing in real life that you can't escape. But it's a really good alternative right now. Really, really solid. Owen, you got any shout outs before we head out?
I will give a shout out to the South London Legion. I know there's a few Legionnaires in the chat. They have, after a really long time, they've released a new podcast today. So I hope you don't mind me hyping a competitor.
I encourage everyone to create content, make content, and also talk about that content. In no way do I consider them to be competitors, just friends who make more stuff.
Good. The We Are, what's it called? We Are Legion that came out today. I like Seb is laughing in the chat, competitor, but you know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be nice.
Yes,
Rob. I'm always trying to be nice.
It's nice. I want to say a big shout out to everyone that's watching on Patreon, everyone on the podcast, my Hydro homies, and the Twitch chat. But I think my big shout out today will be to my new bird friend, who didn't derail the show as much as I thought it might. But I'm off to investigate. Be sure to tune in on Twitter, where I'll update you with what the f is going on, because I'm not scared of a bird, but I am worried. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Fuck you, buddies. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.